Hello and welcome to my Bioshock Infinite Charge Guide. So Charge is a vigor that lets you charge straight at an enemy that you can see, essentially. As long as you have most of their body visible, you can charge to them. So in this case, this dude is kind of right there. Able to see him. This guy's kind of far away. Almost dying there, because charge sometimes can be a little inconsistent. The main reason to use charge is if you want to have fun, because it's probably one of the most fun builds you can run. You can recharge your shield, get invincibility, deal pretty good damage, just generally mess enemies up in a huge way. So I highly recommend running it. So you kind of saw there, I was like darting all over the map, charging the dudes. I mean, that's what it's used for, but... Alright, so by default, charge can be used to cover a distance gap, and if you can see most of an enemy, meaning if you can use it on like their torso, and there's like a path between, there's like no physical object in the way of their torso, you can essentially teleport to them. So if an enemy's above you, sometimes railings get in the way, so it can be hard to charge up, but if there's no railing, you can easily charge up. So like, even if there's like pitfalls in between you and an enemy, you can charge like from here to here or here to there if there's no obstacles in the way. So as long as you have like good line of sight for your body to travel to, like through, you can charge to enemies. So you kind of saw in that fight, I was charging all around, I was recharging my shield. There are two upgrades to charge. The first one is pretty expensive, but it's extremely broken, especially in 1999 mode. You get invincibility for a few seconds and it recharges your shield. This lets you be reckless and just dive into enemies and shoot them with any weapon, including the RPG or the volley cannon, or the volley gun. And you can just deal damage, but you can put vulnerability on them. Also note, charge uses your melee attack. So anything that affects your melee, like let's say you have a 70% chance to electrocute an enemy with melee, or you get healed off of a melee hit, anything like that, that will all proc. So if you are running like melee build, or any kind of melee build, charge is perfect for that. You can also hold in charge to scale the damage. This does not consume additional salts, but it can be used to scale the damage of the attack. It doesn't increase the range either, it just is, you know, it just scales the damage, that's all. Generally, I don't use that because I find it more useful just to dart between enemies and then kill them quickly with like a power weapon like the volley gun. You can use pretty much anything you want with it, shotgun, SMGs, anything that can deal decent damage. You do put vulnerability on foes and you use it, and you can combo it with your melee hit proc off of gear, so it's pretty good. There's really no downside to using this. You can run this on any build. Getting invincibility in the hardest difficulty is definitely helpful, especially when you're overwhelmed by enemies and there's, you know, enemies with hit scan all around you. So I actually do recommend that you invest in at least the first charge upgrade so you can get invincibility when you need it. I'm going to use this on some lone enemies up here. There's like two guys. Just to kind of wrap up, I'm going to go over vigor combos in a separate video. I'm just going to do all the combos probably in one video and just kind of show them. But here's two enemies, so let's actually charge this up for scale damage. So I got an electric proc. I actually one-shot this guy from charging it, which is interesting. And I one-shot that dude, so charging it does help, obviously. These enemies are like medium health enemies near the end game, so definitely worth running. Just to kind of wrap up, you can charge to enemies that are above you, you just need line of sight. So like for example, if an enemy was up here, you could charge this enemy, even though you can't physically get up here from walking, so that's not an issue. You can also charge enemies that are quite far away. There is a range, however, but it's pretty far, so you can close distance gap, you can use charge to escape enemies, you can throw in like a devil's kiss, and then charge after it if there's like a huge group of enemies, just for fun. Like there's a bunch of different things you can do with it, but overall, I would say it's great in 1999 mode for the invincibility, and the damage is pretty good. It does, you know, you get your melee proc, it's pretty good, so yeah, definitely worth running. Definitely very strong vigor. Highly recommend running it, it's very fun as you saw in that earlier fight. But that's all for the basics of charge. Thanks for checking us out, and I'll see you in the next one.